Getting into my European outlook, it looks like we're going to be seeing some pretty warm weather coming up into Europe through the course of this week. Our first really warm burst of weather, I think, is on the way for central parts of Europe later on this week. But we'll come on to that in a moment. First of all, I want to talk about the video advertising that you see on GavsWeatherVids.com. I'm affiliated with a video advertiser, so there'll always be a video overlaying the weather vids here on GavsWeatherVids. So please play those video ads because you'll be supporting GavsWeatherVids.com if you do that. The other thing I want to talk about is the website where I get these charts from for my videos. It's weatherzentrale.de, and you can find the link for Weather Zentrale on my links page. Just scroll down to the bottom of this page, click on the links tab, and that will take you through to the links page, and then you'll see the link for weatherzentrale.de. Right then, the European weather for the week ahead is looking very unsettled indeed across western parts of Europe, but I'd say for central and eastern parts of Europe we will, I think, get our first burst of summery weather, a first burst of warm weather coming up from the Mediterranean. Now, this is the situation today, and we've got low pressure heading into the south of the United Kingdom and across northern France. That's going to be taking some very unsettled and wet weather in across southern England, and much of France is going to have some heavy rain as well today. And in fact, this entire western and northwestern part of Europe is very unsettled and rather cool, and it's also quite cool for these eastern parts of Europe as well. Really, it's a very unsettled picture across Europe just at the moment with showers, and we can see this if we take a look at the precipitation charts first of all. And we can see that we've got that persistent rain there across many parts of southern England and down across the bulk of France. Very wet weather there. Rain extends down in towards the north of Spain and down into some parts of northern Portugal as well. And we've also got showers through many parts of Germany and Poland, and then down in towards Italy, and even some of these central parts of the Mediterranean getting a few showers as well around Corsica and Sardinia. And then through many parts of the Balkans we have got some showers going on as well, and those showers extend up towards the Ukraine and up towards the eastern and northeastern part of Europe, then coming back in towards the Baltic area and into Scandinavia. Well, it's a very showery picture there with showers along as well as rain. So as you can see, it's a very unsettled picture really across the bulk of Europe today. And if we have a look at the temperatures, well, it's very cool here on this western side of Europe. Temperatures through much of Ireland, the United Kingdom, down into France and even into Spain, well below normal for the time of the year, and just 7, 8 or 9s across the bulk of France where we've got that heavy rain moving in, and that cool weather as that extends up towards the United Kingdom and through much of Ireland as well. And it's a cool picture going through these parts of the Low Countries in towards Denmark and up towards Scandinavia. Much of Germany quite cool as well. The warmth really is to be found on this eastern side of Europe, if you can call it that. It's not particularly warm, but the warmest weather anyway is on the eastern side of Europe today, with temperatures in these eastern parts of Europe between around 18 and 23 degrees. The highest temperatures probably down here towards Greece and Turkey. Now, if we go on into the middle of the week, we can see that we have got a very unsettled picture again here across the northwest of Europe. So this area of low pressure just to the southwest of the British Isles on Wednesday will be driving the weather across the west of Europe, I should say, taking heavy rain in across much of Ireland, the United Kingdom, again heavy rain through much of France in towards northern Spain as well, and we will have showers or longer spells of rain further east through Germany and into these central parts of Europe as well. Notice though that we are beginning to pull up a bit of a southerly wind here across these central parts of the Mediterranean ahead of this low pressure. That's going to become quite important later on in the week because it will bring up some warmer air. Now we have a look at the precipitation charts for Wednesday. We can see that once again we've got a lot of rain there across the United Kingdom and Ireland. That rain extending down in towards the bulk of France, very wet picture across France. The Low Country is very wet as well, and that rain then extends down once again in towards northern Spain and parts of northern Portugal as well. The driest weather or drier weather will be across southern Portugal and central southern parts of Spain, and then through much of the Mediterranean we see quite a bit of dry weather, Italy drying out, And that dry weather extending towards Germany as well. We still have showers or longer spells of rain here up across Denmark and into parts of Norway and Scandinavia, and then through in towards Finland as well. Southern Finland, parts of Latvia seeing some outbreaks of rain as well. And then showers or perhaps some persistent rain, maybe a few thunderstorms extending down through these Black Sea areas and in towards the Balkans. And temperatures as we go into the middle of the week, well, once again, it's a very cool picture here across the British Isles and Ireland. Temperatures well below average through much of France as well. Very cool weather indeed, with that heavy rain and gale force winds, but cool weather extending down into Spain. It is a cool picture through much of Spain and Portugal, I'm afraid. And it's still quite cool across Germany and parts of Eastern Europe as well, northeastern Europe as well. The highest temperatures again on this eastern southeastern part of Europe, up to around 21 to 23, down across the Balkans and through in towards Greece and Turkey. But that's where the warmest weather is on the east and the southeastern part of Europe. The bulk of central, northern and western Europe is quite cool. Things do change though as we go towards the end of the week, and what's going to happen is that the low pressure is going to become quite sluggish across many parts of western Europe. Here we do have sluggish low pressure, and pressure is going to rise across the eastern and southeastern part of Europe. And between these low pressure to the west and high pressure to the east, we are going to bring up some warmer air from the south. So let's have a look at the temperature charts up to 850 millibars. And there we go, we can see we've got some very warm air coming out of North Africa into the central parts of the Mediterranean. And then that warmth extends further north, so much of Germany and Poland getting some very warm weather once we get through towards the weekend, and down into the southeast of Europe through Italy and into the Balkans. We've got some very warm air as well. In fact, many of these central and eastern and southeastern parts of Europe do have some very warm air coming out of the Mediterranean. Round to the west and the northwest, it's much cooler. We can see that with these yellow and green colours here, very cool on this western side of Europe still. But for central and eastern parts of Europe, we are lifting those temperatures up. Now, if we have a look at the rainfall, we can see that we have still got very unsettled weather on this western side of Europe. We have showers over Britain and Ireland, longer spells of rain stretching through much of the Low Countries, Denmark, and then down in towards France, and then through the bulk of Spain and Portugal. Very unsettled weather. We've got a weather front here, and that's marking the divide line between that cool weather up to the northwest and that warm weather to the east. But to the east, we do see a lot of dry weather through the bulk of Germany, Poland, and then down in towards Italy, and then into these southeastern parts of Europe through Hungary into the Balkans. Much of Greece is dry, and then up towards the northeast of Europe through the Ukraine, a lot of dry weather. And that's because the high pressure is building here, and as I say, it's the squeeze between the high pressure to the east and this low pressure to the west that will be pulling up that southerly wind out of the Mediterranean. So if we have a look at the temperatures, well, it's still a cool scene on this western side of Europe, Britain, Ireland, France, down into Spain, very cool weather indeed. But we go further east and we have much warmer temperatures indeed, stretching up through Germany, through Poland, and then up towards the Ukraine, very warm up there. And then further southwards in towards Italy, we've got some very warm weather pluming up out of the Mediterranean, and then again through into the southeast of Europe, some very warm temperatures. Could be seeing temperatures up to 27, 28, maybe even 30 degrees across some of these central parts of Europe by the weekend. That's 86 Fahrenheit, so that's very warm indeed. The first real burst of summer through much of central and Eastern Europe. Now, this is a little way off, so there's got to be a bit of uncertainty about this. It's not happening until the weekend, but certainly today it does look as though we are going to see some much warmer weather coming up for central and eastern parts of Europe towards the end of the week. But to the west and the northwest of Europe, I'm afraid it remains a very unsettled picture right throughout the week, with showers and longer spells of rain, and the temperatures very much on the cool side as well. And just a quick thing to note is that through parts of France and the Low Countries, with that sort of hot air coming up ahead of that weather front, Some of that rain could turn thundery. We may see some thunderstorms stretching up through parts of Spain, France, into the Low Countries, possibly into southeastern parts of England as well. So that could just be fueled by that hot air rising up out of the Mediterranean. But really, I think we are looking at a burst of summer for central and eastern parts of Europe. That's the big talking point this week. The first summery spell on the way for central and eastern Europe. If you live there, enjoy it. But further west, well, I'm afraid it's a cool, unsettled and wet picture. I'll be doing the next European update next Monday, so come back if you've enjoyed this forecast and you want to see another one next week. I'll be doing another European forecast next week, but that's all for now.